Lisa Clark here, and this is Chipmunk Part 2 of a series. So we've already laid down the pan pastels to do like a base coat, base layer, if you will. And now I'm going to use my Carbothello pencils to start layering, and it will take a lot of layers. So even though you may not see red on that chipmunk, trust me, there's a little red in there. So that's why I chose this color for the base, because I'm going to be going over it with lots of other layers of Carbothellos, different colors. So right now I'm just laying down a very light touched base color of this particular, it's kind of like a burnt sienna look to that Carbothello pencil. But you really won't see it in the finished product. I did play around with a couple different colors to try to figure out what's going to work to get this perfect tan color that I'm seeing that I want to put on this paper. I did have some problems trying to locate what would work, but I also know I can also put other layers on top of this one, which will tone it down and make it more pleasing to the eye. So while I was busy with my white here, this is the charcoal pencil. I wanted to see, is this gonna work? Is this gonna do what I want it to do? And then I realized, I forgot this little white mark. This one right there. So, yeah, I needed to like, I really need to look at my reference photos a little bit more often when I'm doing this. So I decided, well, I better go ahead and put that in now so I don't forget and just keep going over it and over it and over again with darker colors. So yeah, he has like a little white birthmark, we'll call it right there. So I do go back and touch it up a few times. So right now I'm still just trying to figure out what colors are going to lay nicely together and blend well to get that really creamy tan colored with a little bit of red on his coat. But just keep in mind, I'm not trying to do exactly like the reference photo. I am using it clearly just as that, a reference. Um, I don't know what chipmunk's anatomy is. I don't know where the color markings go. So that reference photo is what I'm using that for. Is it going to be exactly like that? No. Is it going to be kind of close? Sure. It'll be close to it. But I'm not it has to be exact. Um, person, with this particular chipmunk. Plus, I'm gonna do 4 chipmunks, 4 different chipmunks on 4 different pieces of UArt. So, I'm really right now, this is like my test chipmunk, if you will. I'm trying to figure out what layers work well in the order they work. Some colors didn't work, and I probably won't use them on the other 3 chipmunks, whereas other ones did work really well. So, yeah, this is more of a trial and error chipmunk. Do I want them to come out great? Sure. But I'm not, it's not gonna kill me if it doesn't look exactly like the photo. I think the photo is just absolutely adorable. But it does not need to look exactly like that. It's gonna be my own adorable. So this is just really let's see what works, what goes together well. And keep in mind, I mean, even though I've used different kinds of colored pencils with different art, Carbothellos I'm new to relatively. I've only made, I think the lemur was the only one I've used the Carbothellos on. That I drew. The last thing I drew was the lemur. So this is really my second time as an art project anyway, using the Carbothellos. It's not like they're vastly different from other color pencils, but they do behave a little bit differently, as far as blending goes, and, even sharpening them, um, they're a little bit more particular. So, but anyway, I'm playing with these pencils. I'm trying to see what works, what doesn't work, on chipmunk number 1 here. So, I've always used charcoal pencils. I'm familiar with them. I'm comfortable with them. So, and they play well with the Carbothellos. I will say that. What doesn't play well, which I learned on the lemur, is graphite pencil and Carbothellos, or any really soft pastels. Don't. really work well. They don't play well together. So I strongly suggest not trying to use both of those mediums together on one picture. Um, so anyway, I found this gray. I like gray. I like gray in different kinds of color pencils, but I find them really friendly as far as blending with other pencils, other colors. I mean, um, I was able to figure out what was going to work here with this white fur. I know it's not completely white. There's you can see different colors kind of peeking through. So I found that gray to work really, really well after a layer of white. So I'm using the Carbothella white here, not the charcoal. And really all I'm trying to do is just get down a good base layer so I can start building the details on top of it. Because with most pastel paper, you're gonna have a grit and you don't wanna see the grit. So it takes layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. And that's why I speeded up this part of the video because it's just layers and layers and layers of white. So, that white will be going away pretty soon because I don't want it to be stark white, like bright white, because his fur in the picture is not that. It's like a almost like a off-white, like a creamy white. So, this is just a base layer. Trying to keep in mind where his little legs are underneath all that fur, because there's definitely a difference in the fur there. So, and like I do in most of my videos, you see me do this all the time. I never stay in one spot for very long. I just don't do it. I prefer kind of bouncing around. I get bored really quick. I don't know about you guys, but boy, sometimes I just get bored. I don't know why. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It's not that. But yeah, I will. I will bounce around. I will go from the belly back over to his back. I may do a little under his chin. I may, oh, you just never know with me. So I do apologize if you're not like that kind of artist where you want to block out one spot and do it. I cannot do that. I've tried. Um, I'm just not that person. So just bear with me when I bounce around. And that's what I'm doing. I did end up on this part here, what I could tell from the photo, I believe that's his tail, but in a drawing, that is not gonna make any sense. So I do end up kinda tweaking that a little bit on my drawing. I end up making his tail a little bit more visible on that side. So, yeah, it's just one of those liberties that you get when you're freehanding your picture there. So this is part 2. Hope it's been enjoyable to you, and I'll see you for part 3. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.